Unit 1 Test Review Tutorial. For questions 1 through 5, we're going to use this picture here on the left. Number 1 says, what is another name for line R? Line R is this line right here going up and down on the plane. So to name a line, you pick 2 points on the line. And on line R, I see point T and point X. So this would be line TX with the line symbol at the top. Or you can reverse the lettering and say line XT. Number 2 says, what is another name for line N? Same idea, pick any 2 points on the line. So I could say it's VW, VX, and so on and so forth. So there are several different names that or several different combinations of 2 points that I could use. Number 3 wants to know 4 points that are coplanar with point W. Coplanar again means on the same plane. So point W is on plane P, this little rectangular shape here, or rectangular-like shape. So other points on this plane would be point V, point X, point Y, and point Z. Number 4 wants us to name the intersection of lines R and N. Intersection is where the 2 lines meet. And the 2 lines meet here at point X. So X would be the final answer. Number 5 says, true or false? Line XY and point T are contained in plane P. And the correct answer would be false. T is not on the rectangular looking shape. So they're not together contained on the same plane. For 6 through 8, we're going to use this figure. Number 6 would like for us to name 3 collinear points. Collinear again means on the same line. Whenever you see that word linear, line is inside. So linear line, same line. So 3 collinear points would happen to be J, K, and D because they're all on that line right there. I don't really see any other line that has 3 points together on this picture. Number 7 says, is point D contained in plane X? Plane X is the little flat rectangular looking shape at the bottom, and point D is up here at the top. So the answer would be no. D is not contained in plane X. Number 8 says, is point M contained in plane X? Point M is down here, and it's not on plane X either. So I would say no. Number 9 wants us to find the length of AB. So again, whenever that bar is not there, that means length. So this is our segment addition piece. So we know that AB plus BC is what it's supposed to say, should equal AC, because this is point C. It was cut off by accident. And if that's true, I know that if I had the value of AB, I would add it with 5.8, and it would give me 13.2. So since I don't have it, I would have to subtract 5.8 from 13.2 in order to find out what AB would be. And you would get AB is equal to 7.4. Number 10 says that given that y is between x and z, and xy is 3a, yz is 14, and xz is 5a minus 4, find xy. So again, this is segment addition, where we know that xy plus yz is equal to xz. So now you can substitute with the algebraic expressions. Xy was 3a, yz was 14, and xz was 5a minus 4. So now we solve our algebra equation using our algebra skills. Subtract 3a to get 14 equals 2a minus 4. Then add 4 to get 18 is equal to 2a. Then divide both sides by 2 to get a, or 9 is equal to a. But again, they want us to find xy. So now we would go back and use the algebraic expression they gave us for xy, which was 3 times a. And we're going to plug in 9 for a. So it's 3 times 9, which is 27, as a final answer. I cannot stress enough, please make sure you read the directions carefully and a couple of times if it's necessary, because I've seen this on the test that if you don't read directions carefully, I can guarantee you're going to miss this problem. And it's a very easy problem, and I'd hate for you to miss it. Number 11 says, on a number line, point R is at -30, point T is at 96. What coordinate is the midpoint of RT? So we need to use the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula is point plus point divided by 2. So in this scenario, let's draw our formula skeleton, the plus, the fraction, or the division bar, and the 2. And now we'll insert the values that they gave us for the variables, or the points. So R is -30, and T is 96. So we're taking -30 plus 96 divided by 2. So now we can grab our calculator or do it with a basic calculator or in your head, whichever works best. In other words, you don't have to have one of these TI-84s to answer this question. So -30 plus 96 over 2 is 33. So the midpoint would be 33. Please show your formulas. When I say show your formulas, I want to see this before I see your final answer. For 12 through 15, we're going to use this number line. Number 12 wants us to find the distance from D to F. So the distance formula is the absolute value of point minus point. So draw your absolute value, your formula skeleton, first and foremost, and then insert the values of D and F. D is here at -2. F is at 5. I'm going to do this without a calculator to demonstrate you do not have to have a calculator. So -2 minus 5 is going to give us a -7. And we talked about distance is never negative. So you got to ask yourself, how far is -7 from 0 on the number line? And it would tell you it's 7 spaces away. So the distance is 7. And again, on the calculator, if you have one, or whenever you have one, you can type it in one step. Absolute value, again, is found like so. Hold on. Move over. Thank you. Absolute value is found by hitting math, right, 1. See ABS? So now you would type -2 minus 5. Hit enter, and it gives you 7. So again, yes, you can use a calculator, but again, distance is never negative, so do not forget to put your absolute value sign first. All right, next question. 13 wants us to find the distance between A and E, or the length of AE. So same thing, draw our formula skeleton every time before you just write down your answers. So A is located at -7. E is located at 2. So again, I'll do this one without a calculator to demonstrate that you don't need one. -7 minus 2 is -9. And then the absolute value of -9 is +9. So the distance is 9. Number 14 wants us to find the midpoint of segment CE. So again, the midpoint is point plus point divided by 2. That's the formula for midpoint. So write out your formula skeleton. Plus, divide, and the 2 first. And then insert the values of the points. Point C is at -4. Point E is at 2. And I'm going to do this one without a calculator as well. -4 plus 2 is -2. And -2 divided by 2 is -1. To me, it was just so much faster than to grab my calculator. But I already demonstrated how you can put it in the calculator in number 11. For number 15, it wants us to find the coordinate that is 2/3 of the distance from A to F. So this is a fractional distance question because there's a fraction in the problem. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So since it's a fractional distance problem, there was 3 steps. So the first step is to find the total distance from A to F. So let's find the distance from A to F. Again, distance formula is the absolute value with the minus. And then insert your points. A is at -7. F is at 5. So right away, that distance will be 12. Without a calculator, without every little detail, you should be able to recognize that. With more practice, you're going to get faster. Trust and believe me. The second step is to take the total distance, which is 12, and you're going to multiply the fraction that they gave you in the problem. So 12 times the fraction 2/3. And for those who forgot how to multiply fractions, this would be a good time to pick up your calculator. So I need 12 times, I'm not even going to use alpha y equals, watch this, parentheses 2 divided by 3. That's the same thing. And I get 8. Look, I had to put my fraction in parentheses in order to do it that way. It'll work too. So the result was 8. This is your fractional distance. So now we got to do step 3. But in order to do step 3, we got to ask ourselves, are we going to add or are we going to subtract? We are starting at point A because that's where we're leaving from. And we're going to end up at point F. So if you look at your number line, A is on the left and F is on the right. So we're moving right on the number line. And since we're moving right, our numbers are increasing. So we're going to add from our starting value. So our starting value is point A, and point A is located at -7. And we said we're going to add our fractional distance. Our fractional distance was 8, which is in step 2. So when I take -7 plus 8, I will know the coordinate that I'm looking for, my final result, in other words. So -7 plus 8 would give me a +1. So at the end of the day, what did I do? What I did was I found the distance that was 2/3 of this blue line I just drew for you. So 1 is right here. That is 2/3 of the way from beginning to end. We're going to take a break right here and resume in just a moment.